Okay, so people on Patreon know this, but I did some tomato themed animals, and this is the guy who started it all. Also look, that's my friend's art. I got a sticker from her, but anyways, so it all started with this guy, and then recently I decided to draw this guy, but I was thinking, maybe I should try something else. So I did a little axolotl seahorse kind of guy, and I really love him. So this is what we will do today, something tomato themed, something this guy themed. So recently I worked with this brand and we made a keychain and a pin, but I will get to it in a little bit. And I made this guy, if you remember him from one of the videos, into a little keychain, and he turned super cute. If I could focus this. Anyways, I also added a little tint. It's hard to see on camera, but it's almost like bluish greenish tint, and I really think it adds to it, to the vibes. And what's cool is that the on and off are correct, because I almost had an issue, but they were super nice and they fixed it super easily for me, because I sent a file and then I realized that it's a little bit off. But yeah, I hope you like it. You can get it on the store. Plus, if you want a keychain or a pin for yourself, you can check them out. I will add the links in the description. And also, look, this is my first pin ever and I love it, and it's the sushi fish and with the leek tails, and it's so shiny and cool. Plus I have two of the pin things ends so that it's super secure. And yeah, I really love how they turned out. Also, here is a tiny snippet of the process of making the pin, and as you can see, I decided at first that I want to do one of the whales, but then I kind of felt like I should do sushi fish because to me it felt more important, I guess. So you can see that I took the one way where you already have something created and just turn that into a pin by going over and deciding where the important lines would go. But you can also, of course, already think about what your pin could look like and draw it immediately from that. But yeah, I decided to create something that I already had and knew how I wanted to look like, so I didn't have to think too much for that. But yeah, this manufacturer is really nice, and they again were super nice with helping me with a few things that I was curious about and also needed help with. I have never made pins and I didn't really have any ideas of what colors I should use, but I sent them the drawing and they matched the colors so well that I didn't really have to ask anything else for that. So yeah, if you want to check them out, again, everything is down below, and let's dive into these tomato guys. So, as I quickly explained in the intro, that these were inspired from a tomato squid that I did a month ago, or I think so. I don't remember. But anyways, this whole thing started with a squid, and then I decided to do an octopus. But I think the octopus could have been a bit better, but you know, I was trying things out, seeing what could work, and then my brain just went fully off topic of that and decided to do a seahorse. But I thought, I don't really want to do a seahorse, especially because then it's just a seahorse with like tomato colors. And you know me, I have to do weird things and merge things. So I decided to make it more tomato-like. We will add an axolotl, because whenever I draw them, I make their heads very round, and that kind of reminds me of this tomato theme that we're going for. So that's the story how we got here. I decided for the first axolotl to change a few things from the first design, and one of the things was that I wanted to see if I could do little fin-like things on the back. And of course I am making this ombre effect from red to green because, you know, tomatoes are of course a red, but then we have the whole plant part where it's green. And I just wanted to include the green part as well. Plus, of course, tomatoes are green when they are still growing and not ripe yet. So I decided if we again wanted a little story, then these guys could also be green when they're young, and when they start maturing, they start turning green. So that would be fun, right? But yeah, also, if you have noticed, this guy doesn't have an arm, and there are two factors to why he doesn't have an arm. Is because first, if you saw at the start when I was sketching him out, he had a different pose for the arms and I just could not make them work. So I decided to switch them out, but I also kind of was projecting that my arm was hurting. Basically, I have a lot of pain in my arm right now, and I know I should take a break, but sadly I cannot. Although I will take a break soon, so that's fine. Yeah, I was playing tennis and that kinda flared my whole hand situation a bit more because, yeah, you know, artists and their issues with hands. Sadly, I did not escape that part, but yeah, he doesn't have an arm, and even though it's a bit sad, it's fine. He can grow it back because, you know, axolotls can grow limbs, so he'll be fine. Plus, I think it adds to the character, and he looks pretty happy, so he's not worried that he doesn't have an arm. Plus, he has his other arm at least. I am making them a little shiny because, again, we're thinking tomato theme, so I want them to be all glossy and cute and plump. So I added a lot of highlights, and I again was going for a purpley eye color because I just can't resist it. And then I wanted to include the line art process because I am using my purple pencil, and for these guys I decided to kind of rely on the purple pencil to bring everything together, because right now he looks a little bit too flat for my liking. And even though I use the pencil for line art mostly, here I will go over some of the body and add kind of like a shadow to it and make it less flat. So I love this pencil because it's almost like a little helper tool for me to just bring everything together and make it really pop. So yeah, that's why I included this part. And I don't know, I like how this guy turned out. He also still has the tomato leaves on top of his head. I don't know what stem. But yeah, I was thinking maybe the males or females could have that because the other guys don't have it. And I don't know, I just decided not to add those to them because I couldn't decide if I like it or not. I don't know, you tell me if it should be like that. But yeah, I decided for this one to keep the stem. So here in the corner you can see that I changed the previous axolotl's tail, and this is what I meant by not liking it that much. It's just, I don't mind the contrast, but I feel like I could have made it less noisy and make it make more sense, but you know, I can always change it. And since we are doing the second one, he has a little bit of a change from the first one, and that's the fun thing I love about sketchbooks. It's just that's where your ideas go, and even if you have a ridiculous idea, you should throw it on paper because you never know if it will work out. You know, maybe it is stupid. I'm not saying your ideas are stupid, but you know, how will you know if something works if you haven't tried it out? You know, sometimes we can't visualize things clear enough in our heads that they have to go on paper. So these guys went on paper, and I decided for this one not to do the stem part on the head, and that's the only way I can see if that works. And plus I also changed the tail's color to something purpley, you will see. And that's another thing I changed and had to see if it will work, because to be completely honest, I was almost gonna go into my comfort zone and basically make them look super similar, but I decided to just push myself a little bit. Even though we're having a fun little sketchbook session, I did want to try new things out, and here you will see that I am struggling a little bit because the colors aren't working well. Everything's kind of mushy, and since my brain also can't figure out what's wrong or how to do it, it's just a little bit of a mess at the tail. You can see that it's just too much and too hectic. So I just decided to complete some other parts of this axolotl and finish the tail a little bit later. I also decided to change his eye a little bit and make it more snake-like, so you can tell me if you like the little big huge sparkly eyes or the snake eyes more. But yeah, I decided to change the tail and go at it a little bit later because, you know, taking a break helps you to look at things better with fresh eyes, and plus then I don't have the frustration that had built up because I took some time to not think about it. So I think the second idea is working better, so I decided to basically remove the light purple part and just go immediately into this darkish purple part, and I like it more. The idea of this purple tail is because we have tomatoes outside that are in a blackish color, and I decided, you know what, again, I love some star motif, so I wanted to sprinkle that a little bit here just to try something out, and I did that, you know, why not? Literally, that's how my head works sometimes, because you need a little bit of that sparkle of fun. To make the tail really pop, I did go in with a black marker as well to make the contrast a little bit better, and I think it really sold it. It makes it less flat, and then I added some little stars, or I guess dots, to make it look kind of like stars. I didn't want to go overboard with those dots, so I think they're the right amount. But you know, I love stars, I love star motifs, I love galaxy related things, and whenever I see on Instagram or anywhere else somebody do something star themed, I am amazed and I love it and I save it and I must do it as well. So yeah, I think this axolotl guy is my favorite, and I would love to know which one is your favorite, but I don't know, he just looks different. He has the cool tail, and maybe I'm biased because of the star theme, but I just like it. But I do want to say that for their designs, I still want to change a few things, because the seahorse part I haven't really explored enough yet. So they don't really have fins, and I should include that because I was thinking that probably would help them swim better. But I mean, they can use their hands as well, and maybe they don't swim a lot, you know, they stay in one place more or less. But yeah, I want to look into more of the design on the body part. So this last axolotl, I decided to switch it up a little bit, and instead of starting with the red, we are ending it with the red. And I also love how this guy turned out. I had fun with these guys, okay? So that's why I'm saying I had fun and I love them. But I also love drawing silly faces, and they do have silly faces. I was a little bit worried with the poses being too similar, because if you look at this guy and the guy next to him, then their tails are doing the same swooshy motion, and their arms are similarly placed as well, and I only realized it later. But I could have switched it out because I saw it once I finished the sketches, but I had trust in myself that they will be different enough, and plus I was lazy. But don't tell anybody that, you know, I am sometimes lazy with these things, and I just want to get to the painting part and seeing how it will look at the end, and it's just like a little mystery to myself as well. I never know exactly how things will turn out, and I think that's what makes art fun, that we have so many options and so many ideas and so many ways you can do something. Because if you would go to another person and ask them to draw a tomato axolotl, they would do something completely different, and that's so intriguing, I think, at least to me. I was a little bit worried with how I would make his face darker, because I had a green that was way darker than this one, so there would be a huge contrast suddenly, but I think it worked. I was just worried that it will look too flat, and I didn't want to mix it too much with the other green. I don't know how to explain the thought process, but hopefully it works. You can let me know. But I just wanted the shiny feel the same way I did the previous one. So here I am laying down this next green, and I think it is just a little bit too dark. I don't know. I think it could have been a tad bit lighter, and then it would work better, because now I think it's a little bit too noisy again. I don't know what's up with me and noisiness in my paintings, but I just think his face isn't as clear as the other ones. But in the end, I think it works out. So we're basically done with all of these guys, and I'm super happy how they turned out, and I just wanna have them now in real life. It would be so cute to look at them, or I don't know, go in the ocean and find them just swimming around. But yeah, let me know what kind of axolotl creature we should do next. Maybe it shouldn't be food themed, because I am doing a lot of food themes recently. Actually, no, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just gaslighting myself. But anyways, I just love food, you know? Who doesn't love food? But yeah, let me know what should we do next, and I will just say goodbye to you. But I really appreciate you staying here with me, and I hope you enjoyed the process. And if you want, you can put a little tomato star emoji so I know you are here till the end. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Hold me tightly like I was there, and whisper softly in your ear that everything is gonna be alright.